gas up the Jeep, it's good to be free. Load up the pans and fishing poles. The highway is long, the wheels turning round. Pack up the cook stove and the bowls. Arlo and I, we hit the open road. Arlo and I are on the road.
Hey everybody, I'm back in the kitchen again today, and well, you just saw me out in the desert collecting some of this really beautiful creosote bush. And creosote bush, also known as chaparral, also known as greasewood, is that smell of the Arizona or southwestern desert rain. Yeah, it really has that great smell. And now this plant has this sort of waxy, oily surface on the leaves, which is actually a natural protection, probably from animals eating it, and gives it that bitter taste. But it also gives it that wonderful smell, and that is the smell of the desert rain. When it rains, it hits that, and those oils are just kind of dispersed into the air, and instantly it just smells like rain. And recently, I made a video on how to make a bundle similar to this. I tied with string that I could hang in my shower. I made it for my wife to hang in the shower, so that every time you take a shower, it smells like desert rain, which is a real beautiful way to use this plant. But this plant also has great antibacterial and antifungal properties. And today I'm going to start the first step in the process of making some creosote salve. So what we want to do is we want to infuse a lot of these oils from the plant into some olive oil, which we'll use to make a healing salve in maybe a couple weeks. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a jar with some olive oil, and I'm going to set it in the window, and I'm going to let it sit for at least a week, and then we're going to take that oil and we're going to mix it with beeswax, and then we're going to make a beautiful salve for minor skin irritations. It's going to be perfect. So anyway, that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so the first step in our process of making our creosote salve is to take some of these creosote leaves, branches, and we're going to fill this mason jar, and then we're going to add olive oil, and we're going to let it steep for at least a week, and then we're going to take that oil and we're going to mix it with, warm it up with beeswax, and we're going to make our salve that way. So I did make a pinon pine resin salve, which if you scroll back you'll find that video as well. So there's two related videos to this. I have a video on how to make the creosote bush bundles for your shower, and I also have a video for making the pinon pine salve, which is going to be a similar process to how we're going to be making this. But first we need to get our creosote bush to steep into olive oil. Now I'm not really using any type of ratio for this first part of it. I'm just stuffing just quite a bit of this of these leaves into the jar. I'm just kind of removing the larger stems so that we can get to pack this down a little bit. Okay, and then I have a couple of cups of olive oil here, so I'm just going to put this in here. Pack this down into the oil. Just like that, right right, so just like that. So what we're trying to do is just sort of infuse all of those natural oils from the creosote bush into the olive oil, and then we're going to be using that to make our salve. So we're going to put a lid on this. I'm going to set this in my kitchen window here and let this sit for about a week, and then we're going to come back, and then we're going to make our salve. So we'll see you in about a week. All right, we're back. It's been about 2 weeks since we put our creosote bush leaves in with our olive oil, and we set it up in the window there. And you can see how the oil has changed to a much darker color as that creosote bush has infused into the oil. Now our next step into making this into a salve is to make this a little thicker. So what we're going to do, this is just a thin oil, we're going to add some beeswax to this, and we're going to put it into a double boiler, and we're going to let all of the oil and the beeswax all melt together, and then we're going to pour it into our tins, just like we did with our pinyon pine resin salve, and then we're going to let it. So a strainer, I'm going to strain. I'm going to strain out the leaves. So there you go. So that's a cup of our creosote oil. Oh, and it smells of the desert rain. Even at this date, it smells just like the desert rain. So then to that, so that's a cup of our creosote oil, and then a quarter cup of our beeswax pellets. Okay. And then I'm going to take this to the stove, and I have a little double boiler set up. Well, I have a pot of water with some foil on the bottom of it, and I'm going to set this jar into it. So just like this. I just want the foil in there to keep it from sitting on the bottom, but we want to gently melt the beeswax and the oil together. It's looking pretty good. Our beeswax is almost melted into our oil. Just a couple more minutes, and then we will pour it into our little tins. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat off. That's looking perfect. You can see that beeswax is completely dissolved into the oil, and now we're just going to pour it into our tins. All right, let's pour these in. All right, wow, these smell so good. It smells just like the desert rain. And we poured our salve into our little tins, and now we just need to let them cool and set, and then I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, well, it's been about 10 minutes, and our salve is starting to set up a little bit. You can see that, and you can see that actually it's starting to get solid enough that I can actually even just turn it over. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to put the lids on all of these so that it cools down even slower. And then I'm going to put little labels on it, and then we're done. And creosote bush, I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video, is antimicrobial, antibacterial, has lots of great topical uses. You don't want to put this, you don't want to use this internally, but it has a lot of great topical uses. So if you have sort of skin irritations and things like that, it's perfect for things like that. Now you want to make sure if this is the first time that you've used it, that you use a little bit at a time, and just to make sure that it's not too strong for your skin. Super important. A little bit at a time, and then if you don't have any reaction to it, then go for it. Look at that nice green color that it has on there. It really picked up that green color from the leaves. But I'm just going to let these harden like this. I'm going to put some nice little labels on them, and they're ready to go. Oh, this smells so good. Now, if you like this sort of thing, I also did a video on pinyon pine salve, which I collected pinyon pine resin up in northern Arizona, and I made a similar salve to this. And that also has this incredible pinyon pine smell, completely different than this one. But I'll tag that video on the end of this video so you can see how to make that one. Okay, that's it. If you like this video, please like,
Yes,
subscribe. That always helps us a lot. And
it's
we will see you
fun
next
to
one.
be
All right,
free.
bye-bye.
Load up the pans and fishing poles. Arlo and I, we hit the open road. Arlo and I.